Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we have a blast from the past and a glimpse into the future. Let's see what today's video holds. Stick around. Tiger blood, baby. When's the last time you saw this bad Larry on the channel? The AK that started it all. And what the hell is that? Onward Research. Let's go ahead and test it out. That's right. Today we have the brand new AK rail from Onward Research called the Tatonka. Onward Research, a company that I believe was started by Grand Thumb and a few other guys. I don't really know the history all that much about them, to be completely honest. I never really paid attention to them until this. So let me tell you about how I got one of these that is pre-production before they've gone on sale, for full transparency. As you guys know, maybe you don't know, I run a little event called Kalash Bash in Texas. It's the largest AK event in the country, and at times we end up hiring people to do certain things. We always end up hiring a film crew to come out and film. Well, we noticed that Micah Mayfield is now a bit of a free agent. So we reached out to him and asked if that was true. He said, yeah, man, I'd take hired jobs. I'll come out and film your event and make some baller-ass content. And that he did. We worked out a deal, and man, he was so professional. Just came out and did his thing. He had a film crew with him, and he had a cameraman out there that is the engineer over at Onward Research that developed this rail. And apparently Micah did a lot of development on this rail too. So even though Micah is not involved with Onward Research, he feels very passionate, and he hopes this thing comes out and hopes it's a success. So while we were there, the gentleman, the engineer, his other camera guy, actually asked if I would be cool, if I wanted one. They had a couple pre-production models there. I could take one, beat on it, let them know how I felt about it, see how the install went, and just try the damn thing. They never once asked me to film it. I, in fact, asked them, once I got it, if it was okay to make a YouTube video so early about it. And they said, well, the one you have is basically the one that's going to end up coming out, so sure, you don't have to, but if you want to, knock yourself out. That is totally how I got this thing right here. Before we get any further into this video, if you guys like some of the t-shirts that you've been seeing while we're ripping and tearing at the range, those are all Third Pin Threads t-shirts, and that is the absolute best way to support this channel. I don't do Patreon, and I don't do paid ad reads. I sell t-shirts. Really cool AK t-shirts, a lot of the artwork hand-drawn by Tattoos by Paul out of Austin, really well-known tattoo artist. He also has Milsurp Rifles on Instagram, massive Instagram channel with all the cool Milsurp. He's one of the OGs, and he's done all the artwork on these new shirts that just hit the website. I'll put the link for those down below. That's the best way to support me. I might even be packing those orders because I co-own the company, so you are directly affecting this channel, not some brand that I'm hyping up that I have absolutely no stake in. And when I see these shirts, these hats, these hoodies out in public, hits me right here, man. I greatly appreciate it. Now, let's get back to the Onward Research Tatonka rail. So a couple of things about this rail. Let me start by saying there's a lot I don't know about it. So I've honestly not asked Micah or the engineer a lot of questions about it. I kind of wanted just to go do my own thing. Installing it had a couple of questions. They were more than happy to answer quickly, so we got that lined out. But other than that, I've really just gone radio silent and haven't talked to them much. What I do know about it, what info is out there, it's AKM spec. You've already seen that in this video. Will not fit on Yugos, will not fit on milled Type 3 AKs, so really only for AKMs right now. And I did do a scan. They actually had a post on Instagram that's like 7 weeks old now from when I'm filming this video, where they just did like an AOA about this rail, and there were a ton of questions. And like the top 3 questions that I saw were, do you have a Yugo model? They made that very clear that maybe they're looking into it, but it's going to be quite some time. Second question was price point. They didn't say anything. So someone had actually asked if it was going to be like $500. They said absolutely no way it's going to be that expensive, but we have not nailed down a price point. If I had to guess, this thing's probably going to be anywhere from like $275 to $300 if I was a betting man. Third question had to do with configuration. People wanted to know if they were going to make like longer or shorter variants. People were wanting to know if they were going to make a full-on quad rail. This obviously only has it on 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. It's all M-LOK everywhere else. And they said maybe if demand is there, but they did not intend on making any other links or configurations with 1913. One thing I did see in a couple of their pictures, promo pictures, they actually had one of these on, looked like a 106 CR or 107 CR. It was a 12-inch AK, like a 100 series, and it was actually coupled to a dust cover. I haven't asked, I don't know, but these holes right here are definitely intentional. They're not threaded, so I'm assuming, and on the inside, it's kind of hogged out. So I'm assuming they absolutely are developing some sort of a rail dust cover that uses a similar setup to like a B33 from Zastava, to have arms that go around your sight block, dip down into here, bolt into place, and then you can hinge. Maybe they're going to use T-bolts or something, because I don't know how exactly that would work, because these don't have like threaded inserts like Zenitco does on their lowers. Looking at this thing up close, you can kind of see that void I'm talking about. So if you were to compare this to Zenitco, you'll notice on Zenitco's inside here, a lot of that material is removed so that those arms can fit down in place, to bolt in place, and then hinge to your dust cover. So it's almost guaranteed that that's happening. And of course, they already have pictures of what looks like a prototype, but that's definitely going to happen. And again, this is very reminiscent to a couple of other handguard / rail styles. Obviously, this is definitely Zenitco inspired, I would say. The shape of it, the look of it, very much so. The size of these holes, though, I actually told Micah, I said, you know, to me, it looks like Knight's armament mixed with a little bit of Zenitco, and that's what you have here. These massive holes, top and bottom, really give me that like Riz rail aesthetic, very much Knight's armament, maybe like a Centurion rail kind of thing. Again, we have a Bar War rail here, pretty much damn near a pretty close clone to a Zenitco sport rail, but you can see the aesthetic that Zenitco has. And if you do look at some of the Zenitco options that have 1913 top and bottom, and you were to compare it to your Tatonka rail and those little arms I was telling you about, if you look, you have your 2 bolts right here, the arms and the hinge dust cover. That is definitely exactly what's going on there. So I fully expect that rail dust cover to come out sooner than later. The way that this is built, you'll notice that you have this big groove cut out here. So this will work with any full length AKM. So any AKM, any 100 series style, any AK-74 will absolutely, this will bolt up to it. What's really cool about this groove being cut out, it plays really nice with front sight gas block combos, and you'll see the rifle I use in this video is set up that way. And I honestly think this looks best on like 14.5s or 12-inch AKs that have that factory length gas tube with a combo block. However, it will bolt on to full size. This big groove here is for your gas tube to just have some clearance there, because your gas tube has a ferrule that sits a little high, and all that does is add clearance for that. And of course, this will allow you to run a factory sling loop. You have a big cutout here. You have QD on both sides. They're non-rotational, so there's 4 different set points where if you lock it in, it has a little bit of movement but will not fully rotate. M-LOK on 3 and 9 o'clock, both sides. I have found all the 1913 to be in spec. I have found the M-LOK to be in spec, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Took me off guard when I first got this thing. It was this little flappy guy right here. Wasn't too sure what they were going for there. So you'll notice you have a little screw down here. The more you tighten it, the more this piece pushes up. So like a lot of rails, they snap into that void underneath your, well, on the front bottom section of your receiver. It's hollow. Actually has this exact shape. So the idea is you stick it into the receiver and then you tighten this to push up against your barrel and underneath your sight block to just add tension to kind of squeeze open or push out and add a little resistance, opening up. And then up front here, you'll notice that very Zenitco-esque cup that goes all the way around for your lower handguard to snap into. And I'm going to show you a picture here of these spacers that come in. They give you 3 or 4 of them. When you do try to install this thing without one of those in the lower handguard retainer, you can tell by the shape it's just meant to sit down in there and then add a little tension when it's all pressed against your lower handguard, and then you throw the lever over. That's what those are for. They come in various widths. I had to use one to get it installed, but that's how they actually get rid of all the slop, to add tension. So this really only mounts in 2 places on your AK. Snaps in place your lower handguard retainer. Once you get it properly spaced with those little spacers and you throw that lever, there's like 90% of your tension. And then in the rear, to keep it nice and tight, you tighten that up on the inside against your lower sight block. And it's really all you have to do to install these things. It's really not that difficult. So let me go ahead and show you the gun that I'm going to be putting this on. Those of you that have been watching this channel for some time, this is going to be a bit of a cameo, a little bit of a treat for you. People have been asking where this gun has gone. I still have it. So we are going to install this rail on my gun that I like to call Tiger Blood, an SLR 107 FR, one of the best ever AKs to come in this country. I've actually had this gun cut down from 16 inches. It's 14.5-inch pin and weld barrel. And what's really cool about it is it has a combo block, meaning front sight gas block combo. It's all in one piece. This rail, to me, looks best on factory AKs with the factory gas tube that have combo blocks because of the cut in the front of it, just like Zenitco. So I still have the factory gas tube. Problem with this gun, well, I also thought it was a great candidate for this rail, because I have this part right here. This is called a KOP. This actually replaces my sight block and gives me all these different uppers that I can dovetail in place and snap in. Holds really good zero, looks cool. It was really hot back in the day. It's kind of fallen off now. It's a permanent install. I can't run a B33 on this because of this aftermarket part, and there's just some other mounts that just won't work with it because the sight block is not AKM spec anymore. So I've always just ran it like this, you know, which, as all these new products have come out, I've always been bummed about, because this AK is so modern, so capable, I could never put any of that stuff on it. However, this rail doesn't care about the KOP. It will mount perfectly fine. So why don't we knock the dust off Tiger Blood and get this brand new Tatonka rail installed and see what we see. And I'll tell you what all went into the install and approximately how long it took. Tatonka rail is now installed on Tiger Blood, and as you can see, the notch that is removed on the upper section of that handguard looks really good with a combo block. But as you can see, if you get rid of the sight block, you just have a standard 90-degree, even 40-degree gas block. So it would cover up your gas block mostly. But yeah, because of the shims that you just have to use on that lower handguard retainer, I would say that's probably the most amount of time I had to spend on the installation of this thing. Out of the 3, there was really only one that was wide enough to take up enough slop, and I still had to sort of trim it here and there just so I could originally get that lever to drop. Now, unfortunately, it does block the hole for your cleaning rod, hence why I don't have one. Not only do you not have one, but I always thought guns that have AKs that have rails that don't go to the end of the barrel, that get rid of the cleaning rod, look a little weird, a little naked, so I don't like that. However, on these little 12-inch, like 107 CR models, which is kind of like what this is now, I think it's the perfect rail for this gun. Just without even taking a single round through it, aesthetically, I think it looks pretty cool. Very much Knights Armament, very much Zenitco. This is a BCM handguard that I put on damn near everything when I get, you know, some 1913 on an AK. It's super tight, seems well within spec, bolts on just like it would on any other. I even took an RMR that I have on a 1913 mount, popped it on here in case you might end up running this for an optic mount. Maybe you put it on an AK that has no way to mount an optic. It definitely will take one. You saw there, nice and low, bolted on perfectly fine, didn't scuff anything up when I tightened it up, which is what you want to see to make sure 1913's in spec. So all seems to be in spec. It's just kind of crazy. You would think just throwing a lever right there and that one little set screw over there, pushing that block up into your sight block, it went from like rattly to tightening, just putting a little bit of stank on this with some blue Loctite to rock like super freaking rock solid. So that's a big deal, man. Really tight. Other than shimming it, install was a breeze, man. One of the easiest installs I've ever done. Way easier than Zenitco. One thing that they chose to do that everyone should do, I don't care what you make for guns. If you have bolts or screws that are big enough to accept it, these are T25 Torx headed bolts, and man, that is just the way. You know, Zenitco likes to use Allens, which always strip, or they like to use flathead, which eventually you'll break a piece off or strip. Torx T25s, that's where it's at, dude. We actually have filmed this over 2 different weekends, putting quite a bit of ammo through it. The first weekend we took it out, I just wanted to see what it felt like without the BCM grip. You know, doing the whole Chris Costa thing and just, you know, holding it like you normally would like a free-floated AR-15. And I'll tell you, it felt good. I feel like if you ran it that way and you put some of those rubber, those like Magpul rubber 1913 covers, it would feel really good. Obviously, the one thing that comes to mind when you're dealing with aluminum is how fast does it build heat. I will say this is a chunky boy. This is a very thick gauge aluminum. That's one also thing that no one really knows. They haven't really said what type of aluminum it is. If I had to guess, 70-75 would be nice, but I don't want to guess because I honestly don't know. But it is built extremely thick, and I will say it is heavy. Heavier than a lot of other stuff I had on the shelf. It was heavier than RS Regulate, heavier than JMac. It was heavier than Zenitco. So it is a very thick, robust, strong, you know, I'm assuming, chunk of aluminum. One thing that you'll get into when you do shoot rails like this that do keep the factory sling loop is you'll have cool metal, oh, it all feels really good, and then bam, you'll touch that piece of steel right there and it will burn the crap out of your hand. So the way that I'm running this thing, as you can see here, when I'm holding it, that right there, the way I'm gripping this thing, which is exactly how I would hold it, that guy right there has been getting my thumb, which is kind of why you have to use the Michael Jackson single glove methodology with AKs with a left-handed glove, holding it as I normally would. I don't notice the heat, but when you do end up running these full-length rails, most people end up moving your grip forward compared to what you normally would on a regular AK, going from magwell to just holding your normal handguard. Most people run a bit forward to get that AR-15, you know, more outstretched arm, and that will burn the piss out of you. But all of this did not, honestly. Have to keep waiting for that steel to sit still. All right, we are unloading. Our time was a 2:4:22. What'd you say, 25?
7.
Oh yeah, you were close. That's a neutralized, 2 hits. Let's come over here. First shot, honestly, could not have been better.
Yeah, right.
I kind of threw the other one away to pivot, but at a match, 2 anywhere or A zone, 1 to neutralize. So we're calling that one good. Oh, dude, 2 alphas, perfect.
Dang.
Yeah, you really can't ask for better. So honestly, the first target over on the left, we pulled 1 shot. This little guy eats my lunch. It flips probably 3 times before it finally settles.
Yeah.
So, you know, on that second string, I kind of chased a little bit and said, screw it, wait for it to stop, hit, easy. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so the rail, the sling point is, I would say, perfect. It's right ahead of your factory sling. You can still use it, your original sling mount there, but there's not a lot of slings today, like modern slings, that don't just come ready to set up with a QD. It's literally not even an inch away from your factory mount, which I've always found to be pretty good placement. Heat-wise, it's aluminum, so it gets hot, but it's very, very thick aluminum. So I would say builds heat a little bit slower than most. Oh, forgot it. Procedural. I think I pulled one down there in the corner, but we'll see. 4 good hits. That was like 1, 2, 1, 2, really fast. Ooh, we almost missed that one. But we broke the perf, so we're okay. 4 hits. So that one there was me going, damn it.
Yep.
I probably got the first one. The second shot, I just sort of threw it away to hustle.
Barely got it.
I do miss, you know, I've been running like factory handguards for so long now. I kind of got off the modern front end there for a while. But this gun, Tiger Blood, I had built years ago. Man, I haven't shot this thing at a match in like 3 years. It's reminding me how badass it is. And it plays so well with this rail that seems to be perfectly cut for these combo blocks. I can hear her phone going off. It just seems like the perfect rail for this gun because I've got this KOP, so I can't use Zenitco, I can't use JMac. There's a lot of stuff I can't use with the KOP. It kind of blocks certain options from you. So when they sent me this, I thought, shit, I got the perfect gun to dig out of the safe to put that on. And it looks pretty cool. Let me know in the chat if you think we should put some red stripes on that thing too. 1.91. .178, faster. I chopped the tree down behind it. Did you see that? I chopped the tree down behind it. Did you see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 full mags. Rail itself doesn't burn you right away, but you wouldn't be able to hold that for a long period of time. And honestly, not really the rail's fault, but that will get you. Just because it's a rail, you're kind of putting your hand a little farther out than you normally would, and that little guy, oh yeah, substantially hotter. Couldn't feel it at all with my left-handed glove. And dude, these are like thin cyclist gloves. They're really not meant for shooting, so it's just a thin layer, but it does keep the heat off. So yeah, man, I think it's pretty cool. So we did end up running some courses of fire, and I gotta say, man, it's this rail has really like reintroduced me to this gun. Dude, I haven't shot this gun in, God, I hate to admit it, like 3 years. I don't know why I put it away. I just put it away for a while. As soon as I got this thing, I was looking at all the guns in my safe, and Tiger Blood's back there at the corner that I never get to. It's dusty. I'm like, you know, I wonder if that freaking rail would work on that gun, and I'll be damned. It did, and I think it looks pretty cool. Blacked out stock that's not painted, the gun that's all painted, the handguard that kind of fits that blacked out aesthetic from the stock. I think it looks a little gnarly, honestly. You know, people say it doesn't matter, but I think good looking guns, good looking parts on guns, that's saying something, man. People just don't want to buy stuff that makes their gun ugly. And some people appreciate a nice looking gun, just like you would appreciate a nice looking car. It's just kind of cool. So I will say the positives are the 1913 seems to be in spec. Visually, it is appealing. I think it's a good looking gun. I like the way that it's cut for gas blocks to hug very close to the gas block without having, you know, just a senseless straight cut at the end of your rail. It hugs the body lines. That you can tell this was purposely made for an AK. So aesthetically, it is good. I like that it has the dual QD mounts. That's pretty cool. For you lefties and you righties out there, you have options. Love the hardware that it uses. The T25's big upgrade from some Russian counterparts that use, you know, lower quality hardware with stuff that's just going to strip. We all know, we've all installed that stuff for all these years. This is very robust hardware. I would say the way it mounts is very interesting and easy. I feel like if they could figure out some way to maybe get around the shimming up front, but I will say you're either shimming it or you're going to have to file it like you would on a Zenitco. I probably would take shimming over filing on Zenitco because, as you know, when you file those Zenitcos to fit your gun, if you ever want to sell that stuff later, you've already filed it for a gun. It might not fit someone else's gun after that. That's a big problem with Zenitco. You are force fitting it to your gun, and it might be too small later on for some other options. Because of the shimming system that this has and the way that you don't have to do any dremeling on the back section like you would on Zenitco, it's honestly not a problem. So I'll take the pain in the ass of shimming this thing. It's really not that bad when you think about the alternative. The negatives, as I said, it is heavy. So it definitely adds weight to the front of the gun. Front of the AK is already heavy. It's not that great to add a bunch of weight up front. They really do start to weaken that support arm over time. So it is a bit heavy. Really don't like that it doesn't let you retain your cleaning rod, unless there's another way to do it that I haven't figured out right now. That's a big negative in my opinion. I just wish it would allow you to keep the cleaning rod. Most people don't care. It's just a pet peeve of mine. So not a big deal, but I wish I could have it. Other than that, I don't want to say too much because these have not hit the market yet as of the time of me filming this video. So it's very hard to say if anyone else out there has issues. I'm excited to see them maybe come out with a rail dust cover. I'm excited to see what this thing's going to cost. And hopefully someone will put one of these on a scale and we can actually figure out what this thing weighs. Other than that, man, it's been a pretty cool experience. Thought you guys would appreciate seeing a new option out there from Onward Research, the Tatonka rail. Pretty cool. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. Definitely appreciate you guys sticking around. So let me know what you think about Onward Research, this Tatonka rail for your AK. What do you think about it? They've been hyping it up now for months. They say it should be out this summer. Other than that, I don't really know anything because there's not a lot of public information out there. So if you want to go check out Onward Research, maybe Micah, go hit one of those dudes up, send them a DM, ask them questions about it. I do appreciate those guys letting me play around with this thing, and I appreciate them saying yes, that I'm allowed to make a video. So yeah, man, they seem to be doing some cool stuff over there, getting into the AK market. All right, all I have for you guys, again, check out Third Pin Threads. You want to support the channel, leave a comment down below, tell us what you thought about the video, subscribe, why not? We have an Instagram, Ak47, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Love you, bye. Cool, and we got 2 hits. Nice.
Under 5 seconds.
Yeah.